Welcome to Monday, Adventures of a Feral Hippie. It's kind of interesting that you really have some kind of awareness of, well, what could that hippie be? Ooh. Welcome to freedomslows.com, Revolution Radio. And just, oh, what a wild weekend. It was excellent. Yes, indeedy. And we also got, how many days left? 10? It's 420, everybody. Get your picks out. Okay. Oh, pardon me. We have at least another 500 bills we have to collect. So, big bills, you know, those $500 ones. There could be many or 1 or 5, but jumbo seed pack, okay? And you get a silver bar and $75 donation. And I don't know if there's any today specials or not, because every now and then a hog will come in and give us some special during the day, but that's usually around Sean David Morton's show. But if by chance, because there's a leather shop biz here, the man's name is Ron. They do custom leather work, and for what I've been seeing and looking at, it's really, really cool. But any type of leatherware made at low factory prices available at www.leather-shop.biz, B-I-Z. Enter promo code MR2015 for any $25 off any leather jacket, leather shirt, leather vest, or anything else at the store. If you do not see the style you want, send them a pic or a link and they will make it for you. Don't forget to use this promo code MR2015 and save an extra $25 off. An already super low factory price for the awesome custom-made leather item you've always wanted. And it's vroom time. I mean, the hogs are out playing around in these mountains. And do tell them Mona sent you. But there's all kinds of things playing around here. They're trying to get our consciousness in one direction and all this other stuff. But the only way to keep up with the lips a-flapping is to keep this station going. So go to the donation button and donate. Because otherwise, it's just going on real fast. And at least here you can get the archives. If you need to find out something that might have happened last week, but you only have today, there are $5 a month archives. You can go to what? 100 and some different shows, let alone whichever. So, welcome for joining us on our Monday. Again, Mr. Mohsen is with me. Hey, Mohsen.
Hello, dear. How are you doing?
I never know how, but I give thanks that I'm conscious that I am doing it.
You always sound great anyway. You sound like a wonderful, gorgeous, seasoned lady. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It really is a pleasure to hear you.
Somebody actually got to see my hair the other day, and I forget that I have my hair as long as I do whatever, because I'm not maintaining, okay? I'm a hippie. I don't maintain. Anyway. She ran me almost down. I love your hair. I love your hair. And it's like, my gosh.
Wow. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Maybe I shouldn't be asking it on that.
Oh, it's all good, honey.
But no, I was just wondering exactly how old you are.
I'll be 57 on the 3rd.
57? Okay. All right. To me, it always sounded like older and kind of wiser, but that's fine.
I've always been older and wiser since childhood. Trust me.
Actually,
I'm playing more now than I ever have in my whole life.
Actually, at 57, you're even younger than I am. So that's great.
But age has no real divinity upon what our essence is here for these journeys.
No, absolutely not. Actually, the whole time concept, as we know, it is an illusion. It is something within this program of reality that we have on Earth.
Well, it's a tool, too, isn't it? Because it helps us direct our missions. Even if it's going potty, man, you got to have time to know,
Well, see what it is actually. Even mainstream scientists, people who followed quantum mechanics and Einstein and all that stuff, started talking about time as a dimension. It's like the fourth dimension, and that is nonsense. That's rubbish, because time is not a dimension. Time is a measure, and also even space that you're talking about, three-dimensional space or stuff like this, they're not dimension. Dimension, it has a completely different uh, meaning than how it is used or abused. Dimension is basically a plane of existence which you can only get to it through changing your consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
which you will do through upgrading, upshifting your frequency, natural frequency, and or your light quotient, which are basically both measures of consciousness. It's the way of quantifying your consciousness, and I have talked about both of them sort of in detail. Much, much more about uh, the phenomenon of natural frequency, which is very, very important, because every even object, inanimate or animate,
Mm-hmm.
everything in the entire cosmos has basically a characteristic that we call it natural frequency. And I've shown that, and I think for those of you who were following also the video shows, I think it was I think it was the third one. The third one, we talked about basically modeling this consciousness of a body, soul, and we came up with the equations, and we came up with actually a equation for natural frequency, which is well known in in basically vibration mechanics, but it's basically related to karma, and it's also related to your constitution and mass. It's actually a square root of k over m, and k is a karmic constant, as I called it, and m is the your density. But anyway, going through dimensions is you have to change your frequency. You go through a different domain. It's not even a time space domain. It is jumping from one reality, which in here may be time and space, to totally another reality. And it's sort of, you're going to have to go through a wormhole type of experience, and then you appear somewhere else, which is the fifth dimension. Now you go in a fifth dimension. Each dimension, the entire laws of mechanics and physics could be totally different. What works in here, for example, in third dimension, you've got gravity. Gravity is an extremely important force and phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And gravity is, of course, based upon polarity. Okay? And polarity is duality. Duality is when you have this or that. It's a kind of a binary system, good or evil, you know, uh, love or power, right or left, up or down, whatever. Everything has its own extreme polarity in
Mm-hmm.
duality. And that is why we come in here, because we're like little children in the kindergarten when we come here, and we come in here to experiment as childrens do in the kindergarten. They make little shapes and colors, and they experiment with the crayons and colors, or with the shapes, make triangles and rectangles and stuff like this. And we basically come in here, we look at, we experiment with the good and the evil, the right and the left, whatever. And that's what it is. But going back to time that I was talking to you about, time and space is something that's very indigenous in physicality, in three-dimensional world. Now, if you go to the next layer, fifth dimension, the physics are totally different. For example, very simply, I can tell you this: gravity does not exist in the same fashion. Still, there is gravity, because where there's mass, there is gravity. Okay? Where there's constitution, there is gravity. And as you go to the fifth dimension and seventh dimension and ninth dimension, you start losing constitution in terms of mass and gaining constitution in terms of antimass, antimatter. And so by the time you get to the 12th dimension, everything is antimatter. There's not even the smidge of matter the way we know it on this planet exists. So when you go to the fifth dimension, it is a different continuum. It is the ratio of matter to antimatter is completely different. There's more of an antimatter. And when you go to the seventh dimension, there's more, which means the more antimatter, that means the more consciousness creeps in. You know what I'm saying? And the consciousness is prevalent. So that is why it's a higher consciousness. There's more of it. In physicality, mass impedes consciousness. It stops consciousness. It's an obstacle. So that is why, the consciousness is usually of much, much lower quantity, or what we call frequency, natural frequency, And as we say, again, natural frequency is proportional to the inverse of the square root of mass. So there's more mass, there's less consciousness. It's an inversely proportional. So anyway, so we were talking about dimensions. Let me just finish that. About time, you were saying, time is kind of a program server. It's a part of a reality. It's kind of like being in a computer system and being served by software.
Yeah, that's really true.
Exactly. And the software that you are served on three-dimensional duality, there are two aspects of it. There's time and there's space. Space makes you roam around and experiment, with a spatiality, and time makes you wonder about the sequence of events. What was before and what is coming, later. So it is a software. It's all a software. When you go in a higher dimension, you will see that the time progresses. The more consciousness you get, or the more you get into the frequency domain, the time disappears. It becomes less and less. And you approach, in the fifth dimension, you approach the now moment, which is the big N, big O, big W, which means everything's happening simultaneously. Okay? But, it's how you sequentially understand that. And when you go higher and higher and higher dimensions, eventually absolutely talking about time does not make sense at all, because it doesn't exist. It is not part of the physics. It is not part of the mechanics of that dimension. Are you with me? So, on that note, I thought that explain this. This is something that really needs to be even explained to the mainstream scientists, the quantum mechanics people, the physicists, the top-notch, that they consider themselves top-notch, of course. Those people, that they completely understand time is not a dimension; it's a measure.
Right.
And it's a way of that comes in a software of reality.
Well, even the same with the gravity and then centrifugal force, because everything will momentum into another aspect. But also, what you were saying earlier is we have to learn to let go of a lot of the thought to get into a meditative state. So then the consciousness that's waiting for us to open up to can be allowed in.
That is certainly true, my dear. That's true. There is two things regarding frequency that people might be very confused, even the very, very highly enlightened ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they start thinking about logic and science in terms of three-dimensional reality and all this stuff, they say, wait a second, how is this that when I have to meditate and as I go from beta to alpha to theta, I go to a lower frequency? Yet I'm going to a higher dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, that is a contradiction.
Not
Be-
really. Not in my mind, anyway.
Yeah, no, you see, you said it. You said it. Mind. You said the key word. The key word is mind. Because, no, but if the frequency increases, you're in a higher dimension, correct? Things are happening very fast. The concept of time disappears. You know what I'm saying? That slow frame motion disappears. Consciousness is very, very fast. Frequency is very fast and all that stuff. Okay. But how come I'm saying I have to bring down the frequency to get into the meditative state to get into higher consciousness?
Right.
And I'll tell you exactly where the snag is in there. Because there's two type of things we talk about. One thing is the state of physical conscious mind. Okay? That's the that's the that's what we go on thinking. You know what I'm saying? Being wrapped up in things, being, whether it's greed or jealousy or money or even pleasure or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That when the thought is going, that's your physical consciousness. That's your brain going. Okay. Now, when you say you bring down the frequency, you bring down the frequency of a physical consciousness. You quieten the brain. When you get to the theta state, the brain starts shutting down. And then you open up into your ethereal, which is your main aspect. You only got one body in a physical, and you're born with 6 more ethereal bodies, which are layers in your aura. And we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about this. And they're sitting there and they're waiting to be explored for you to get into them. So what you're gonna have to do, you've got to quieten this physical conscious mind, okay? And then trigger the subconscious mind, which is a different type of consciousness. It is a higher aspect, okay? And it is higher frequency in terms of excitation type frequency. But first you've got to quieten this to get that. In other words, you can think of yourself as kind of a radio station, right? Are you with me, honey?
I think that we are all transmitters and receivers. Yes.
Exactly. And so what happens is that if you want to listen at the same frequency, okay, at the same location, if you want to listen through something else, you got to better get rid of the other one, which is basically noise now. Okay? So
Okay.
your physical consciousness frequency is like a noise. You got to slow down the noise to get to the to the crux of it,
Well,
which
it's
is
like gardening,
subconsciousness.
Mohsen. You're taking the weeds that inhibit you, that
Exactly.
hold you
Exactly.
back. And
Right.
there's still a dialogue of words that really need to be unprogrammed. And
No, it's just, everything makes sense. We said that actual higher dimensional consciousness gets impeded through physicality and matter, right? And what it is, your physical consciousness is the interface with your brain, which is here, which is in matter. You got to pull out of this matter to get more into ethereal, which is antimatter, to be free up, to go all over and explore more that there is out there that doesn't fit in your physicality, in your matter aspect. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am. I had to get a cup of coffee because I had a tickle. I don't know where it came from. But anyway, you know, the CERN is just doing the antimatter. And you know how much it takes of matter to contain antimatter? And did you know that antimatter is conscious with other antimatter that's not even in its general location?
Oh, there's a connection all the way, you know. We are connected from the very, very basic physical and our what I call small self, all the way we're connected to the super mega consciousness of God. There is the connection. It's like a wireless thing, but you have to reach the frequencies.
Right.
It's like again that radio. You're like a radio. You walk around like a radio in this cosmos. And
Exactly.
and the frequencies are out there, but can you get them? No. You got to tune yourself into this. It's like
Or untune, like you said, the noise that is going on otherwise.
exactly, exactly. So if you're going from say, let's say, and in this aspect, actually, your radio station is very similar. Eh, Honey, listen to me. Everything that's been given to us in the 20th century and
Right.
now 21st century, everything is a purpose. If you look at it all the way to 19, all the way even to the 20th century, none of this stuff existed. And humanity was experimenting and experiencing, and it was all okay. It was all okay. God said it's all okay. You got to do all this stuff. But suddenly you hit the 20th century, and it was, you guys going to have to ascend. You guys going to have to go. How are we going to explain to you what a superb and complex system, energetic, bioplasmic, and physical even you are? How are we going to explain to that you? You have studied, you've cut cadavers, and you have studied and learned about the organs and blood, and maybe even further learned a little bit about secretions of, endocrine,
But all their theories, Mosen, is the same as believing that dinosaurs melted to give us petroleum oil. And that
um,
now that we have
good
been so.
point.
Hmm?
Good point. Let me think about that. You're saying, yeah, yeah, that's part of the conserve. That's part of the conversion of energy.
I just had
Okay.
a strange question.
Yeah. Let me
Is
just
the
answer that.
Akashic records in every dimension and different records? Go ahead, answer the other question.
Let me finish that, honey, quickly. I hate to leave people,
No hating.
Now,
Go ahead.
converse. Those are all I told you my vernacular.
Hey,
Forgive me
we'll
for
get it
those
together here,
obvious.
buddy. We don't have hate
I
on
I'm
Vero
a
Hippie
no,
Show.
no, no, no. See, you know what? It's not hate or anything. You're not gonna find anything but love
Okay,
in my
so
bones.
all right. So finish
You
your
know,
statements.
but okay, everything in actually what it is just you got the consciousness, which is energy, and energy gets converted into crystal electric and then electromagnetic or whatever.
Mhm.
Same token, there is a relationship between mass and energy. Okay, and then Einstein started talking about that E equals mc squared and all that. But basically, on the most congealed form of energy becomes matter, becomes because that solidity, that all this stuff.
Right.
So basically, going back to what you were saying, yeah, the dinosaurs, you know, and nothing in the cosmos, nothing. I mean, look at the wildlife programs, which I like. I love these nature programs. I could watch them. That's about the only thing I watch on TV. And you look at this, nothing gets wasted.
Right.
Okay, even down to the thing that there was the most disgusting. You may find either worms or
Well, it's
insects
still
or so-
organic versus synthetic. If you want to
well,
go like that.
yeah, and organic it doesn't get wasted. So what it
Mm-hmm.
is that if we're saying that the energies come from the dinosaurs, yes, it's a conversion of energy. It's all. It gets converted from one sword to basically, which is a black liquid. You know what I'm saying? Which is we can get it has its own.
Well, I'm not following for it, and I never did like the idea of what's his name either. Um,
I'm sorry. What is that?
the guy that says we are evolved from apes.
Oh, forget that.
Well, yeah, I have forgotten all that. But what my consideration is here is we've been told so much that is a lie in the upbringing, the moon landing, what happened and brought on the asteroid belt that is in between other planets and stuff like that. We have to really facilitate how to ignore the untruths and let in the truth. So here we go. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. I had a musician over yesterday. We were trying to find out what chord it was or what note that bowl was, because sound has a lot to do with everything, and we're happy that our supporters are listening. And please go to the homepage. I want to make up a clipboard with this is what Mona wants, like when people are getting married or having birthdays or births of a new baby, they set up some kind of account that people can get them things. Well, I'm ready to start mine now. Somebody said in chat, Mohsen, which is really cool, that they, where'd it go? Because this thing works so fast. Anita loves the topic. She thinks it's cool because she finds eating vegan helps get her into a higher meditation. And a lot of it is through how we give and what we allow to receive. And, it's fun to support things that are worthy. And also permission to get rid of those things that aren't. But we're worthy here. So welcome to freedomslips.com, Revolution Radio. Go to the homepage and donate. Hi, Mohsen.
Hi there. Hi there. Hold that thought. I just wanted to make sure that I did answer the question that you started asking something, and then we're talking about conversion of energy from the dinosaurs to oil and all that stuff. Did what was that question? I hate not to answer a question.
Oh, you went and said that word again.
Honey, that is just a vernacular. It is part of a three-dimensional verbiage, okay?
Oh, I
don't
get that
hate
drift.
anything.
But if you know what,
It's just,
if I didn't know,
it's
sweetie, so
it's just
much of how
ridiculous
this vibration stuff
language.
does work, okay? I know this stuff works. That's why I try to get people to not feel that way to the point of where if they're disharmony, they're causing trouble. They're creating more of a problem than a solution. And aren't we here to try to help ourselves find those solutions to make this a better existence? Not just for us, even though I'm selfishly doing it for me. It helps others that are around us.
Honey, there is absolutely. I want to tell you this. I'm actually getting more and more and more understanding myself, my true self, my connection to the cosmos, to Lord Metatron, and all this stuff. And believe me, I'm understand. I mean, throughout my life, there's always been things that I always felt, why this, why that. When I saw people are greedy, I said, why? When I saw people are showing violence, I said, why? When people were mean, I said, why? There were certain things in life I never understood as a child.
And what was that? That they had a choice and that's just the way that they are? Or that they've just been programmed or directed into being something that they're not?
One thing that really, really was very, very puzzling to me, and I always was very, very interested in animals and animal kingdom and watching every aspect of all kinds of animals, their behavior and all this stuff. And when I compared that with humanity, And I always used to say that. I remember when I was 15, 16 years old, I used to always say this. I used to say, take a look at this animal. I mean, a vulture, a hyena, this. They just do it because it is part of their cycle of life. Okay.
Right.
And what I couldn't understand was the concept of, so to speak, live and not let live, which you see in certain bad energies on the planet, with people. The jealousy. I mean, like they've got the nice car, and the other guy next door buys the car that's even not as pricey as theirs, but they don't feel good. How where does this come in the cosmos? This doesn't come from God. How did these things? There is a certain um, aspect of this lower consciousness, down to even actual evil, that it's just
Yeah,
you
but it's part of the
can't understand.
duality, Mosen, that is
uh,
the opposite of the good. It,
it is certainly the other extreme of polarity.
right.
But
That's all it is. It's a polarity. We are putting fact of it being wrong. That's questioning God's divine right order and will to me, because I have the choice to either make myself miserable in fear, or I have the choice in being in joy and playing in love. Okay, so that part on
right,
my right, you can't see my hand moving, but here's my right hand. It's the love side, and the left hand's like you said, the hate side. But, it's only because there's not an agreement of what the real energies are for ourselves, because I don't like getting stomach aches, but, doesn't mean I hate it. Does that make sense?
oh, I mean, to answer that is that I get stomach aches, I have flu symptoms, I have sometimes headaches is getting better. You
Good.
see, I think as I move higher and higher into planes of consciousness, it becomes easier to control my lower selves and physicality. So even pain goes away.
Right.
But I mean, ultimately, I'm going to heal not even myself, possibly heal others anyway. But
But isn't
anyway,
it also allowing the truth of the freedom of your consciousness that is coming to you, and telling those consciousnesses that try to avoid or infringe on yours of which ones you're going to pick and choose? You can't do them all. So you should have choice.
it's true.
I
No,
think a lot of
actually,
the excessive was, not damaging, but just more or less where that's where the pressure came from, where you can relax into it and not be pressured into it.
hmm hmm actually, what you're saying is very pertinent to how I feel. And as I said, I mean, Lord Metatron has always been there. Okay, even when I was in Iran. Okay, and had the connection, but I didn't allow it because I didn't see it. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
discern it, and I had all the, I actually had all the unconditional love, the generosity. I've always had those in my kid, and I don't want to brag, but this is the way I've been. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Sharing, caring, consideration. Oh,
Ferdinand the Bull.
oh my God! I mean, it's just like it's been part of my existence, my essence. You know what I'm saying? That
Uh,
I could not have even lived without it. And it goes on and on and still is. But here's what I want to tell you. It is the awakening. You know what I'm saying? And I got awakened. I wrote papers. I did spiritual stuff. I did service. I did all this stuff. But you know what? Still not knowing who you are. I'm beginning to understand more and more and more who I am. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And it is the only enemy that I've had is that willpower which has not e- chosen well. You know what I'm saying? In
Mm-hmm.
other words, instead of thinking you are divine, you come all the way from Metatron, but fear. I didn't want to accept it. Oh, wow, 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 Metatron, me, you know. And the other thing is that, the disallowance that you've talked about, the fear that you've talked about, and it's to lack of good judgment using, which is good that you talk about. So basically, once those go away, you will see your divinity.
Mm-hmm.
You will see your true pedigree, which is from God. Okay? And it is just all we do to ourselves. The guy who doesn't like the next door guy because he got a brand new car, it's his choice that he goes into this extreme side of sewer aspect of polarity that doesn't work.
All I could think of is, hey, honey, you going to take me for a ride? I need to go to the corner store. Yeah, people
Yeah.
put
You
in
know what you
things right.
say? What you say, honey, is just that, hey, you got a car, good for you. And if he cares, go go with a drive, as you said, with him, make him feel good,
Mm-hmm.
and and
Why
and and
not?
and you feel good, and move on. I mean, this is what I couldn't understand in the past. Why people are hitting me when I was a kid in a primary school. These kids, I mean, I was a very smart kid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, you know, top student in the class, work hard, very, very, all this stuff. But
Did you
the
have
kid,
headaches then too?
no, no,
Good.
no. This headache is pineal, it's going away. Anyway,
Nice.
and the other thing is that also, the disturbance that doesn't work. It's kind of like putting, noise into the pure consciousness pool that your physicality doesn't understand. You
Mm-hmm.
know, your system doesn't understand. It's not your physicality actually. It's the interface with physicality, but it's ethereal. I mean, your pineal gland. It may look like a pine cone sitting at the base of your skull between your two eyes. All this stuff, but that pineal, when you talk about the pineal gland, is the physicality of it. When you talk about pineal chakra,
Mm-hmm.
that has its root in ethereal. That's your ethereal part. That's your energetic part, which is pure stealth energy. You don't see it, you can feel it, you
And
can
there's also the
utilize it.
polarity duality that goes along with it. So if we just breathe to both, yes, there's a positive and a negative, there's no tug of war going on.
The key thing, and that's why we came to duality, of course. And I'm sure that's why I signed in to come into this to this day and age. Partly duality, I had to live in duality, and secondly, I came in here to help, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm trying to do. This is my whole passion, my whole life. The other day I was thinking, when am I going to go? And I said, I'm going to do all this stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, the mission, the message, and when the message is all done and it's all documented and all that stuff, I said, then I'm going to just talk, then I'm going to talk to Metatron. Then I'm going to talk to God. And then I'm going to say, you want me to come? Or want me to stay here? You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
the
aren't you really doing that now? And aren't you having joy as you're doing this?
absolutely, well,
Okay.
I don't have a joy in a three-dimensional sense. I have a satisfaction in terms of, see, I'm not three-dimensional. If you're going to start understanding me, you're going to have to pull out of the three-dimensional, okay? I always had a non-three-dimensional aspect, and it is so refined now,
Well,
and
that's
it's
what
come to the
everybody's working for, their
exactly,
oversoul.
and they're gonna do that, yes, and so it's coming to I use myself as an example. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not the person, or I'm the same as everybody else. We're
Mm-hmm.
all connected. We're all from the same source. We're molecules. We're the atoms.
Figments of our own imaginations.
Well, no, we're the particles, constituent particles, part of the very omnipotent God. Okay, This is what we are. We're all the same, except it's the awakening. It is the consciousness state. It's where you are in your path, and all this stuff that makes us different. So please don't think that I think I'm any. Actually, I use some of this stuff as an inspirational thing. That if there are some people who start listening to me and like what they're hearing and start, thinking about themselves and their self-reflect, I'm trying to be inspirational. I'm saying we're all the same. And actually, tomorrow I'll be better than today. So, and this is what's happening to you. You're just moving up in your frequency, in your consciousness, and all this. And once you do that, and having lived duality, you're going to come to this conclusion, which I have, okay? There are things that are put there for us to just see as a contrast, and they don't work. Vampirism, whether it's blood sucking or it's energetic sucking, does not work. Vampirism does not work. Cabal doesn't work. That greed, this separatism, this desperate sense of survivalism, all this stuff does not work. It does not give security. It does not bring tranquility. It will not bring prosperity. And anything that we come in, if we go and steal, or we overcharge somebody, or we have money made this or this, this is the very dumb, very silly way that we have found to kind of reward ourselves and bring joy to ourselves. But it's not joy, because I'm going to tell you something. You buy a Ferrari, and you buy a $400,000 Ferrari, then you buy a $500,000, then you want $1 million. It never ends. And you know what? Here's another thing. You take that Ferrari and you beat the heck out of it. Go to Monte Carlo or wherever you want to go, and you go into all those winding roads.
Would that just be too much fun?
It is, but it is. I've
we
done
have
some
those
of that.
roads here.
Yeah, and I've done it with high-powered cars and stuff. I have never had a Ferrari. I've always said I'm not going to buy a Ferrari, but I bought comparable or better than that.
Right.
Okay. And actually, you want to know this? I have 3 Vipers.
I don't have a clue what a Viper is. So.
I had 3 Vipers.
Okay, well, I would think insurance would cost too dang much, but that's...
No, I had it before all this nonsense happened. All this, which doesn't. No, here's what I wanted to tell you. This, you do this, and after the 10th time, 5th time, 6th time, you get into the car and say, "No, so what? What the heck?" It is not just something that's gonna perpetuate and go on and on and on and on. So I'm gonna go back to beginning of this segment of our show when we started talking about giving, and feeling good about giving. And I will tell you this. There is, and these things may sound like cliche. You may sound like I'm just regurgitating things and bringing cliche to you. But trust me, I say it wholeheartedly. I say it from all the way from the divine aspect. Okay? Giving is more pleasure than taking. All my life, I gave. I gave to my wife until she passed away. Okay? The love, the affection. And I'm not saying I was perfect. I got angry with her. And I wish I had. That's the only regret I had. But the anger that I had was just because she wouldn't do the right thing. She wouldn't do this. She
died in her own way.
She was an angel. She was an angel of God. She came in here. She healed people. She was generous to a fault. She had it all, okay? All that stuff. But she wasn't good to herself.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? She lived in anxiety and fear, and not so much anger, but anxiety and fear, because she was a very, very placid person. When it came to anger, she controlled it. But I don't know what I think all these That's the only thing that that I can say about my wife. Otherwise, she was an angel. If she enjoyed her angelic existence, which I told her billions of times, okay, she would have enjoyed this duality. But I think she came here for a mission.
Mm-hmm.
She came in here to to taste this duality. And to be honest with you, as soon as she tasted it, she hated it. She spitted it out. Part of it. She says that is not that. It bothered her. It worried her. It hurt her. It
Right.
let her hurt her. Then she started thinking maybe there's something wrong with her that she's feeling this way because nobody else is, and
Right.
all this stuff. So it did all that. She was meant to experience it and understand it the way she did. And now that she's up there, she's better because she's gone through all that garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. But she came in here and she found out at the beginning, she said, well, we'll
Boy,
go back.
that went fast, didn't it? We'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, welcome back. Here we are at freedomslips.com. And when Nighthawk says that he doesn't want to be any part of what sometimes we say, and I accept that, everything we do here is entertainment use only. Yes, indeedy. You can label us almost anything. UFO mofos, and of course, that's identifiers of UFOs and secret things that are coming to light and libraries that are opening to facts or fiction because all this is just a theory. But I appreciate all the listeners and do remember to come to our chatting homepage and do that donating thing so we can keep flapping our lips. It is Monday. It is our Mohsen Day here at Adventures of a Feral Hippie. And I'm sure he remembered what we were talking about. But of course, I forget as soon as I take the headset off. Welcome back, Mohsen.
Thank you, dear. Mona,
Yes.
just during the intermission, a revelation occurred.
Oh, cool. I love epiphanies. Yahoos.
No, I got actually I got this inspiration. This I hate the word
Oh,
channel,
there you go again.
but hate doesn't mean hate. It just it means the
If
opposite of
he
liking.
gets itself, brother, I'm telling you what.
All right, honey. Let me tell you this before I forget, because it
Okay.
is for the first time on the planet
Hmm.
that, and I have not written about this yet. I will be writing in this in an article pretty soon. But it was explained to me that the nature of cosmos, the crystal electric energies, the charged plasma, and the duality system, and how it works, and then anxiety versus joy, and all that stuff. It came to
Hmm.
me all downloaded. Okay. So let me explain to you, and please bear with me because it is for the first time when it comes in to bring it into language. It's it takes a little bit doing. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Here's what I just came from my higher self. It was the basically aspect of the Lord Metatron, and that's what came to me right now. Okay, and I think it came because I'm supposed to share this with you guys, and it happens to be on your show right now, so it is fresh. Okay, here's what it is. The divine energies are basically comes to us in form of plasma. Plasma is a pool of charged particles. The particles are basically two ways. They're not like electromagnetism or electricity, but they create potential gradient the similar sort of way. The people who understand plasma physics probably can understand this very much faster than others. Okay, so basically, this charged pool of plasma, which exists in the very, very solar flares and sun, okay, this charged pool has there are two types of basically divine particles. Okay, and they're actually ions. Okay, they're charged ions. They're not particles. They're charged. They're cations, which are positive, and then they're anions that they're more negative. Okay. Now here's up to this point, it was kind of explained to me, and I knew it, and I've written somehow, not quite actually. I'm going to be writing more about this. The cations, okay, happen to be the needy ones. It creates that other side. See, they're positive, so they attract to the negative side. So it brings your negative side, okay? It attracts to your negative side. And what it does, it's actually what it is, it's need, it is insecurity, it is it is the stuff that you want to get away from.
Well,
Because no
don't you
matter
think that need is more, when you say that, is want? Because a need, we have need for breath, we have need for water, just to
Yeah, no, no,
exist.
not that, no, not that, not
Okay,
that.
well, that's what
I,
I'm fathoming, so that's why I'm
right.
bringing it up.
Now, need in quotation that I usually put in double quotation is that it's excess. It's excess. It's the stuff. It's the insecurity. It's just like I want love, but I want love, but I want love, but it's still I want
Well,
love.
it's a pity
Not,
if they're
it's
recognizing that
petty.
they don't feel to be in that love
Exactly.
of
And this
anything.
and these cations that I'm talking about,
Okay.
they bring that pettiness, that petty aspect, that
The ego, yeah.
the insecure, that the bottomless pit, that the things that does not come to any kind of resolution, and it is not, it is the very, very disturbing part of the energetics that
Okay,
we.
now I have a question because
Let
this
me
is
finish the
what you're,
funny.
yeah, but if I don't get this, then we won't get to where I've recognized in others. Is the plasma you're saying is a negative
No, honey,
being?
plasma is a charged pool
Okay.
of ions, and which are anions and cations. Cations, as I was explaining, is the positive charge, but it appeals to your negativity. Okay, so it is the petty aspect of you. The anions are the good side of you, the benevolent, the giving, the kindness, the compassion, that ultimately, if you can fully attract that and get rid of the cations, you will have unconditional love. That's the absolute
So then what's
source.
the name of the elements to achieve that?
the these charge these pool of plasma energetics, they come into your aura. Okay,
Okay.
they get stored in your aura.
Mm-hmm.
From your aura, they interface with your endocrine system, which your chakras. Okay,
Okay.
and from the chakras, they get disseminated, they get distributed all over your body through channels and nadis and all this stuff.
Meridians, yes. Mm-hmm.
Meridians, exactly. And then finally they get into all little part of your uh, neural network, which ultimately deals with your cells and ultimately deals with your DNA RNA structure. Okay, so what I'm saying is that they come in there, that the pool is in there. They come in there, you draw these, they come from your aura, they go into your chakra, they and then they come to your pineal, they go into your, ultimately, in order to manifest in physicality, they're gonna go to your brain through your neural network. Okay? And then it comes decision making, then your free will comes in, because that's the pilot, that's the driver, that's the one that has control over the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it depends whether you adhere to this side or that side. It is what you do,
Right.
it is the duality aspect of you. Okay,
So it's for or against.
It's basically the pettiness or grandeur. The grandeur is your God self. It's your part of that comes from your God. The pettiness is all the excuse me, all the
Ego.
well, bad ego. Again, there is an ego that, see, there are certain things in there that have to be there to be functional, right?
Yeah, it's all duality.
No, but there's some
I mean,
there is
it really
there is
is.
it is duality, but what I'm saying is that there is something that keeps you in this dimension, in this three dimension, right? And ego is like that tether that's stuck in there. But as long as it just it does that as a tether, and it just is a kind of an alarm clock for you to so you're conscious of, because if you go all the way to the positive polarity, is that correct?
Right,
It doesn't work in duality either.
right.
It doesn't work. You see, that's why before you ascend, you need to do an integration. And
Exactly.
and once you do the integration, you've learned your lesson in duality. Okay?
Well, and I also believe besides the duality, which to me is like the shoulders, okay, you also have to put the mind with the heart, or the heart with the mind. And that to me is the oh, just part of the foundation of what we're working with, because then you can go to the tree of life, and like you were saying, the chakras, and everything has its energy port and portal as well. And when you were talking plasma, because I've seen material plasma, okay,
Hmm.
it's one of the weirdest things to experience. And it
Oh
wasn't
yes,
my negativity, it was the negativity of the environment.
exactly. And that's when the plasma pool is
I got up and left Mohsen. It was electrified. It was lightning. No heat, no sound, just color and plasma. And I'm like going, okay, I got to get out of here because I knew what was coming next. And it wasn't
well,
me bringing it, it was warning me. That's the reason why I got to see it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I just want to caution you in using the word plasma because
Well, that's why I was trying to get definition from you because
right.
I needed more clarification as well. So can you do that too?
Sure.
Please.
Plasma is a pool of charged particles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As I said, the anions and the cations, the good and the bad. And the way that it streams into duality, it has a lot of cations as well as anions. And when that ratio is not good, so it's not the plasma which is good or bad. You have a bad plasma, you got a good plasma. The bad plasma is when you have the ratio of cations to anions is way too high. Okay? The good plasma, which opens you up to higher consciousness, to your ethereal and the good and divinity and angelic side, that is when you have the anion to cation. Actually, according to Lord Metatron, which has enunciated that before, and that is 6 to 1. Once you have 6 to 1, the pineal opens up, and the pineal opens up and you get into your ethereal, you're into your angelic side, and
Mm.
then you're privy to use all the other beautiful auric layers which are sitting there that are at your disposal, but it's just like you don't know how to use it, like having
Right.
that Ferrari you don't know how to drive. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of stuff. It's you. So it goes back, everything, that the way you're created is that you are magnificent. Your energetic bioplasmic structure is just to be marveled. In fact, as a species, and I don't want to really talk about species because a cat, a dog is just equally good to me than a human, and
Right.
then because and they're better. As I said, they don't have the live and not let live. You never get that. They eat, they get their fill, they go. they can sustain themselves, but they don't go in there. Oh, let's see, let's just put a bad sign on the back of this guy in a high school, so everybody says kick me, or I am, I am this and that, or so, or you know what I'm saying, putting back, getting kicked out of people's
Business.
hurting people and enjoying it. That's sick.
Yeah, it
That is
is.
sick. That has nothing to do with your angelic side. That is the other extreme side. And hopefully when you come to duality and when you experience these things, okay, whether you're a slave driver, as I said before, Lord Metatron says the slave drivers came back as Martin Luther King's proponents, and they were black. So, you know what I'm saying? Duality is supposed to teach you. Okay, here you may say, oh, it's good. Kick me, kick this guy, and put a sign on the back of his back, you know, and in another lifetime you come in and somebody puts a sign on you. So you see how it feels to get kicked and humiliated for no reason.
Right, right, right.
Okay. So anyway, that's it. I thought I'd share this with you. That this it's something new. I get the information little by little because I'm the type. I'm the very living embodiment of the higher consciousness, and I have to learn it little by little before it could be explained. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because the three dimensionality is very, very limited. And the nature of thing is that you get this revelations and you understand it and you bring it up. If you look at Lord Metatron and somebody else has channeled him, and if you go there, you won't even understand what the sentences mean, and I can assure you of that. But
Mm-hmm.
now you go to my papers, every aspect of it, from three-dimensional, scientific, non-scientific, is explained. Why? Because I'm the living embodiment of him here. Because I can explain it. Even when it's channeled, it's so archaic and so higher dimension that you can just read and just not understand the damn thing what it's saying.
Well, but it doesn't hurt to reread. Because we
No,
always are in difference of
and
fluctuations of energies, you know what I mean?
sometimes I haven't seen that. I've been to meetings and I've talked about Metatron and all that stuff. But I'm telling you this that over and over and over, I've seen that people are totally lost. They don't even understand what's a discrete consciousness. They don't even understand all this stuff. But it's
Oh,
just
and I shouldn't be laughing, okay? I really shouldn't.
because the thing is that Mona, it's been explained the best way it is. When you are in such a high state of frequential energy to communicate in a very, very mundane and simple way, no matter how much you think you do, there's a gap. That gap has to be filled, and so that's what we're trying to do anyway. So I hope that the point regarding plasma pool, cation and anion, because those things you can understand them through NASA. NASA even tells you that there's a plasma pool in the sun. Okay. The thing that they make a mistake that I don't agree with is that they consider sun as a continuous fusion reactor that changes mass into particles, the charged particles, and then they try to explain gravity of sun, and then they're trying to say gravity keeps the sun from exploding, because basically what they're saying, this fusion is the same principle that exists in the H bombs, but in the H bomb, once the fusion kicks in, voila, you get the whole mushroom cloud coming out. Now, how come you don't see the sun have a mushroom cloud? They keep talking about the magnetism of sun as this. Sun is a dynamo, and those are correct, but it can't keep. What I'm saying, and this is again came to me recently when I was started writing that stuff in Suns, and revelation came to me that look. sun is a gateway. It's a gateway to a higher dimension. In fact, sun is a gateway to Alcyon, and Alcyon is a gateway to higher suns and higher suns. And that's how it comes. The energy comes to all the way down to Alcyon. Alcyon opens the gateway and comes into the our sun. So our core, the core of the sun, already has this. There is no fusion reactor. That is the fusion reactor. The reaction, it's not a reactor. It comes in. It comes in from in a very, very, again, this is number one. Nobody's ever said that on the planet. So you're hearing it from me for the first time. It comes in the core of the sun. And then from that, the plasma starts moving. Actually, the photons try to move through layers of sun, and they have horrible problems. And I'll go through these things. Watch my show. I think the next one is going to be about that. Or next
Yeah,
one or
you got
next.
the last one up online really fast because you have a YouTube and explain your name. So if anybody wants to go see any of the past shows, your YouTube account,
Yeah,
please.
just if they go youtube.com and just write Mohsen, Mohsen, and Paul, and that's enough. Even Mohsen Paul will bring it up. But Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi, and then it'll go to all the videos, not all of them, but a good selection of videos. Like I don't know if you're gonna see all the 9 shows. By the way, I put the ninth one on our show last week, okay? Because today we're doing the 10th now, and so that's up. It's been up since this morning. Um, and so if they do that, it comes in. If they go to Google and type my name, just the last name or the entire name, it will it will give them a choice of my old website, Facebook, YouTube, CCN, my channel on YouTube, which has all our videos, and it's not that difficult to find anymore. It's getting easier. And then the other thing that I noticed, Mona, which is kind of strange, is that there are other searches or videos that are putting that, and they're putting my video among other videos. So
Well, yeah,
I, s-
you don't get a full thing except on your channel, and it depends on how you put it in the system of how you want it to go out there.
well, let me ask you this, because when I do it on my computer comes up, I'm wondering if because it's more intimate because I've used it, and it streams in because it has familiarity, because before I've used it. But go in there. Do you have a computer?
Mm-hmm.
Are you in a computer? Go in there. Go open up Google.
Why? What do you want
Just
me
do
to
it.
do? No, just tell me what you want me to go for.
Okay, just go and open up Google, and then and search my name, Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi, and see what comes up. The other thing you want to do is just go and open up YouTube.com, and then
Right.
type my name in the search, Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi. I think you're gonna get to all of them. I think it should
Yeah,
be
I
very
think
easy.
they're all there for what I'd seen last time. Even our shows here.
And apart from going to my Facebook and scrolling down there, because I basically upload everything on the Facebook. I mean the
Mm-hmm.
links. So, and I've noticed that you're coming there now, and I've seen that you're sharing and all that stuff. But if they go when they go to Google, they say Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi or just Sarfarazi. Go in the pictures. It says pictures for Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi. If they go in there, of course, there's other junk in there that I don't know how they're related to me. There are things in here. Some of them are my family, like a picture of my brother or this or that.
Well, people
But
will post what they feel that they, want to post. If you got an open wall, I think you have an open wall, right?
yes, I do. And oh yes, 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 I do. And Google, if you go on Google Pictures, you will see a ton of my slides in there, a lot of them. And if you click on one of the slides, it will go to the paper.
Mm-hmm.
it will bring the slide up, and on the right side gives you the link for the paper, and you click on there, you go to the paper. You can read the thing about ego, or I'm just going to be putting up fear. I finished it last week mostly because of you, because we
Mm-hmm.
talk about fear a lot. So it's just going to be up this week. I have 3 4 other things to put up
Well,
and
but
clean up.
fear is just a misconception of what the truth is, and we should not even have any way, in my opinion, to believe that we know what the truth fully is, because we live in a different play than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what it is actually, fear should be just another thing in the pool of cations and
Oh.
then all this stuff. But the thing is that they have put something, as I understand, Anunnakis have put some implants in us. Okay, they messed up with our genetic system. Okay, as we know, and I think we've talked about this. They took the 10, 12 strands and they unplugged 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically functioning. We've been functioning for 13,000 years with only 2 strands of DNA. Okay. Now, I think then when they were messing up with
Whoops.
us,
Hold on. Can you hear that? I went to the page. I'm copying it to post it, so I have to now shut it off, and it should go away within a second. Yes, see how wonderful it works when you learn how to direct these things? Oh, jeez.
yeah, no, technical stuff.
Well, it didn't come up, and that was the page I'm going to post in chat on the Cosmic, the one you put you have your show on.
Yeah. So
And,
anyway,
okay.
the fear you were saying is just now there is something in our DNA structure, implant, something there that reacts to that frequency of fear. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That is why it's so prevalent in us. Oh my God, even myself,
Well, fear is just not seeing the blessedness of it. That's all. That's all you have to do.
it just, honey, it is something that out of nowhere can get activated. And when you logically even think about it from a 3 dimensional point of view, you say, what the heck? Why? I mean, when I was a kid, I couldn't understand. Why are my knees are knocking? Why am I doing this? Well, stage fright. This thing. I mean, there are things in humanity. The way that fear manifests itself is that it is only through some kind of neurotic, or I should say your neural network, your endocrine system, the injections of certain hormones or whatever activates it. That activates it. But there is something.
Boy, this time just is flying by. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, welcome back. We are here at freedomslips.com. Revolution Radio. Evolution Radio. I just want to and hum and go. When we find peace within ourselves, as each one of us is a separate individual per each and every other individual, but like minds and group settings and other things occur that attract us to each other. Well, nobody's 100% with anybody else. But if we can compromise and get through the ideals that we are, or we have it, or it is, because life has so many other magical mysteries out there that we'll never fathom unless we open our mind, grab our box top, and sit on the ground and check what's going on. There's so many perspectives and variables, just so many interdimensional places, let alone the ones that are external dimensional places. So let us all just, go to the homepage, and donate, because we got to keep this stuff a-flowing, because it's just such a vast array of life out there. Let's just enjoy the now that's passing and make a joy that's up and forward coming, because that's all we got, guys. Hi, Mohsen.
Hello. Hello,
Okay, I know. I just,
hello, dear. How are you?
I don't know. Would you quit asking?
Um,
Shungite. I mean,
Mona, I was
yes.
just thinking, are there any concerns from the chat room or whatever, anything that we can address to the listeners?
Right now, people are seeing what's going on and in the external being of what's going to be available if things occur. There's so many realities that are infringing upon us that we have to realitize here. I mean, Texas and all these different Walmarts. Okay, can you believe Walmart? Oh my gosh, they ran me out of business 3 different times, mofos. And now they might be part of a structure that is utterly taking the carpet out from under us. Our whole total existence in this third dimensional realm. Now, you and I can consider that there's multitudes of other fractaled places or avenues and things like that that we want to fortify ourselves with to be able to acclimate through this illusionary reality that does have influence on all our senses. And most people don't even realize it only takes 3 sheets to wipe your, oh, pardon me. It doesn't take 32 wrap around your hands. Wash your hands afterwards. Nobody's looking at the self-discipline of, letting the stuff that doesn't need to be a part of them go. I know I'm going to be getting off on it, but I mean, Mohsen, there's different levels of conversation and perspectives and realities because each one of us have walked a different path.
Right. Is there anything on the chat room? Any questions
Oh,
that
they're
they
talking
had?
about matrices, and as long as we use an evil economic system, we'll be reducing evil. But evil's just a state of mind. It's just a state of thinking that we have control over what is when the energies all get fed by what we produce, be it action, word, thought, or deed.
Okay. No, when we're talking about
Well, you asked me what's in chat. I'm
the
telling you.
when we're yeah, when we're talking about chat, I'm particularly referring to our show. Any questions
Oh,
that
they're
come
talking
in?
amongst each other. No. Somebody brought up judging. Now, see, I can hear or read that they're listening. But there's been no direct questions here. No, not at all.
Okay.
It's an interesting moon phase. I really should check and see what it is because it's
Okay.
like, okay,
Um,
wait right here. Yesterday was a cool day, though. The
yeah.
now isn't always as we expect it to be, Mohsen. You know what I mean? Yeah, here it goes. 0 degrees Taurus. That's why. And the moon's in Taurus, so we're full of earth and conditions coming on. People can't get out of the 3D, man, because they're emotionally experiencing and physically experiencing. Where's the stability? Where's the love? So,
Well, the stability and
same
the
with
love
Mercury.
is something that they have to make it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a gift. It is not, God created us, and as benevolent as, you know, his his
It's a
omnipotent
discipline.
and magnificent, you know, existence is,
Mm-hmm.
he or she will never interfere with us. I mean, that's part of our
Right.
experience. That's the sojourns of
That's
life
what
that
we're here for.
exactly. So you want to be happy?
I'm pretty
Hey,
happy.
no, I'm not talking.
Usually, I'm.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
Oh, come on. Let's talk about me.
now. You were saying that the people were saying about love, and then they were saying about what's going on the planet and stuff, and the stability. You can make love, certainly you can make it for yourself,
But
and you
it's the
have to.
unconditional love that is the true fabric that makes everything else occur through action, reaction, cause, and effect.
Yeah, but the see the thing, the science of unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
is extremely refined. Okay, and I can't even begin to tell you. I'm still trying to totally 100% understand it in a scientific, in beyond, in a full consciousness way, And I mean, yeah, we can talk about unconditional love. The love that we talk about on this planet is not love.
Mm.
A lot of it is basically lust.
Hmm.
Okay. A lot of it is need.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, because you say, I love you, I
Well, we
love
haven't
you.
been learned or taught. We haven't been learned. We haven't been taught how to recognize it first within ourselves because most of the time we've been looking outside ourselves to find this stuff, and that's not where it's at.
Well, the way that love is used a lot of times on the planet is part of it is from manipulation
Right.
and getting people, and people are getting wise to that. Because they're becoming even more suspicious of that.
Oh, but
But
yeah.
then there's another sort of love, beyond is just getting what you want to get, is the need. Is like, I love you, is just because basically when you say I love you, you say, love me back, love me back.
Exactly.
It is not the love you're giving to the person. It's you've learned through this, again, sort of Newton's third law type of thing, that if you say I love you, they come back and say I love you too, and then you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
that
it's
is,
superficial.
it doesn't mean anything. People
Mm-hmm.
come and tell me I love you and stuff like this. Trust me, it doesn't mean a darn thing,
Okay.
unless I see that their energies of love is there and I can feel that.
All
And
right, I have two questions here.
they don't even have to say it. You can telepathically see it. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because everything is a given and taken, a cause and effect. Plasma is the fourth state, making up most of what is, not a gas, nor a solid, nor a liquid. For your guest, Mona. Oh, pardon me. For your guest, Mona, plasma, and it's a question mark after the making up the most of what is. So, do you believe that plasma is making up the most of what is?
Yeah. In on the planet, on planet Earth, and through NASA and stuff, they're considering now plasma is the fourth state.
Oh,
So, you're saying
but I
solid.
don't trust NASA.
No,
Go ahead.
it's a very limited thing. It's a limit.
Right,
Everything is a plasma.
right. There you
Everything, even
go.
even solid is a plasma. Okay, it is just a very, very congealed form of
It's the way
plasma.
we perceive it.
Well, it's no. I'm just talking physics now. I'm just talking, what I'm saying, matter. I mean, you're talking about, 'cause solid is plasma, liquid is plasma, gas is plasma, and what they say plasma, the way that they use plasma in TVs and this and that, and then that's plasma too. What everything in the universe is basically plasma. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the entire universe is electrical. It is live with energy, and it is plasmic. Okay. In fact, if you want to completely understand how it is actually of crystal electric. And by crystal electric, as opposed to electric, I mean that it is ordered, that is coherent, that everything lines up. There is no dissipation. There is no chaotic aspect to it. There's no amorphous aspect to it. Everything is ordered and crystalline. Okay, and that is the divine energy that is all throughout cosmos, the outer and the inner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then if you want to think about it, it has a very, very sophisticated, delicate, um,
Form
uh,
of structure is what I'm seeing them as.
exactly, laminated type of composite structure, which actually you can see it in your own aura.
Mm-hmm.
Your aura is just these layers, laminates, that each one of them belong to a different part or dimension or frequency. And
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about this. First is your physical, which is the most congealed one, the one that we see, that's basically solid and liquid.
Hmm.
Then beyond that, you have an etheric layer, and then you have got the emotional, thought, causal, spiritual, and then it gets to crystalline. Once it becomes crystalline, it encompasses everything. So you have access to everything. It becomes all one, like
Hmm.
like a Fibonacci type sequence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
S- So it all becomes one. Now, the to answer this person's question, plasma is everything there is. Now, this laminated structure that you do, it is a very, very delicate in the cosmos. It's what you can refer to as liquid crystal, okay? But it's really a laminated form of structure in which the currents move in one direction and then to the next direction and then one direction and the next direction. And that's exactly what happens between each layer of your etheric layers, aura. When you go from let's say emotion to thought, you have a double sheath there that is basically two membranes on top of each other, and the electricity flows through one in one direction and on the other one directly the opposite of it. And that keeps the two layers separately. And as I said, you have to go through frequency.
Well, it sounds like it's if you're going to build a music, like a song, you have to have the notes, you have to have the chords, you have to have the instruments, you have to have the players, you have to have the listeners for it to even become something. So that's what it sounds like all this is.
Exactly. I mean, it's very, very structured. As we say, the plasma has its own liquid laminated type structure, and it's got its own current flow, and those currents carry the particles, the Akash God particles, that they become thought particles, thought waves, when they come in, and they go from all the way to the sun, to the magnetosphere, to the grid system, and it gets disseminated to your aura, and from your aura to your chakra, to your meridians, to your nervous system, to
But,
to your
that could
endocrine
also be
system, and all.
the influence to the point of where people have this nervous tension, they don't recognize what it is. And it could just be a behavior, thought pattern, or some kind of growth condition that needs to happen.
Certainly, when those energetics, when they come in, those particles that form your thoughts, they come in.
Right. That's why I
It,
do not like the idea that they label these people bipolar and all this stuff. Well, we're all in
uh,
our own
and,
little
and,
way
and
bipolar, you know what I mean?
no,
But who's
I ha-
taking control?
yeah, a thought came to me the other day. I didn't pursue with it too much, so I don't know if it was a thing that was coming to me in terms of inspirational channeling or whatever. But
Hmm.
one thought that came to me is just that, these multiple personalities that you talked about in the past, those things actually they're different persons. They're different selves. Remember we talked about 12
Well, I don't
selves?
know about that because now you're talking Sybil. And if you've never seen the movie Sybil, you want to see the movie
No,
Sybil.
I've seen it. I know it. Actually, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be very surprised. Sybil was my wife's patient.
Aw.
She came to my wife way after she was, she had found her
She
personality
centered, yeah,
and
exactly.
merged into one. No, but I think what it is just the frequencies of fear. Okay.
Well, yeah, but if you have that frequency of fear, you're opening yourself up to attract other fears of etheric or material kind. So it's like begotten. You're attracting it by that impression of being in fear of it. Now, I wouldn't call it to me because I don't have any fear, but I wouldn't be in fear if something actually did happen. I'd have to just assess what's going on and go further. But that's me. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Right. Well, you see, the thing is that fear itself.
Hmm.
Imagine this, that fear becomes in such a way that your physical system, okay, your first auric layer, your
Right.
physical system cannot cope with it. And there's just, you just don't know what to do. What you would do, you would jump, you would jump. It's like it's the same thing as sequential jumping, except it's not sequential in a way. You jump into a different reality that you have. It's another aspect of you. It's like Mona 6 or Mona 7. There's 12 of you in general.
Right.
And you go into the parallel and you bring that personality back and say, deal with it. I'm weak. You're the strong one. You come in here. Because you play these different personalities on
Nah,
different.
man.
I'm sorry?
I'm I'm this personality. It might be different characters, but I cannot say personality. This is me. This is
Well,
totally me.
I'm gonna tell you something. And last year when I was very, very attuned, one night, about 3 nights, I went through this dream state. Okay, it was extremely vivid and coherent, and I could remember it. In this, see, my wife was a very extremely dedicated, loving wife, and she couldn't even think of anybody else existing, in terms of another man, and when she was very pretty, and all that stuff. But what happened was this: in my dream, I dreamed that there was another faith. It was apparently a different faith, and it was apparently a different Mosen. Okay, except I could see myself through this Mosen. I knew it wasn't me, but I knew that I am connected to it, and I can understand. I am attached to that being. You know what I'm saying? Because it was you. It is you in a different alternate reality. And then what it was, this faith was an extremely arrogant, well, not just arrogant, very self-centered, very self-indulgent in a way. Actually, I told my wife this when she was alive, and it was kind of a hussy. And this Mosen was deeply in love with her and down on his knees. And she was going with other men and she was doing all this kind of stuff. And he was so hurt and he was so loving. He didn't want to let go of her and couldn't stop her. And she was saying, "You love me? Put up with me." Okay. So that came first night and I was the observer. Second night it came back again and I looked into this and I moved into this Mosen's personality more and more and started taking over. And in the third night I totally took over. Okay. Now this personality was obviously a very, very more on the loving and weak side. Okay. And so I moved in there and I grabbed my wife's hand in that alternate reality, and I twisted her arm, and so I made her sit at my knees, at my feet, and I said, "How dare you do this? How dare you hurt this poor person who was also you, but in an alternate? But it wasn't me. It wasn't him talking. It was me talking." And I told her that, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to work with him, and he's gonna leave you, and he's gonna." And then after that, she broke down, and it actually became more of what I knew in my life. And she said, "Please don't do this. I can't lose him. He's all source of my security, source of my love. I adore him, and all this." I said, "Why the hell do you do this?" But apparently they were living. I mean, in alternate realities, they're you, but they're different you. They're a different aspect of you. And then she gave up. They made up, and then I never went back to that dream. Okay. Then it came to me through again my higher self, that's saying that you are one of the strongest personality among your alternate personalities. And ultimately, you're going to have to bring all these people, take care of all of them,
Oh, geez, that went fast. But I'm gonna have to take notice and see which different personalities I think I need to assess with. Thanks
Yeah.
again, Mohsen.
Thank you, honey. Have a good week.
You too, dear. Really.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Go start your typing.
I have to pretty soon. Yes. Thank you.
Later, honey.
Bye.